There was a point during the Watford game when Benrahma was substituted by David Moyes. He wasn't in a hurry to get off the pitch, and Moyes screamed at him to hurry up. The demand was clear, which is we are trying to win a game of football here. We need all the time we can get. Why are you lazily walking off the pitch? From Benrahma's point of view, I sort of get it. He was disappointed to be substituted. But I think certainly Moyes was thinking, come on, just get off. It's not the first time I've seen David Moyes scream at Said Benrahma or shout at Said Benrahma. I think it happens quite a lot. I think that David Moyes finds him to be a frustrating player. And the more I look at it, I can't help but think it's the wrong player at the wrong time under the wrong manager. I believe him to be a really, really skillful player and somebody that needs to be given freedom. I think he's somebody that needs to be given a free role right next to the striker. He needs to be in the box all the time. But I think he's stifled and I think he's out of position at left wing and he plays there quite a lot. And even when he's deployed more centrally, it's a little bit too deep and he doesn't find himself able to impact the game. And I think it's a massive shame. So I watched a video recently and my son was watching a skills video and it was a training day at West Ham. And it was him, it was Fornals, and it was Lanzini. And the guy that was presenting the video was a guy called Jeremy Lynch, who I've since learned my son watches him all the time. I've since learned it's not a good thing. I didn't know anyway. Apparently he ain't that nice. I didn't know about it. Apparently lots of people I know also don't think he's that nice. But I don't know anything about YouTube beyond the sort of realms of Hammer's chat. Really, I just don't watch it. Not some I do, but not tons. So anyway, I digress. Benrahma, they're doing tricks and flicks, and it's a decent little insight. And you couldn't believe how skillful Benrahma was. I've said on many times on this channel that I think I wouldn't be surprised if he's the most skillful player in training. I mean, the stuff he can do is amazing, and it was actually quite apt because shortly after that, I think it was in the comments after the Kidderminster game, there were a few people that said Benrahma's a one-trick pony. And he ain't. I mean, he really ain't. Oh, he's got loads of tricks. I mean, there's loads of them, tons of them. He's a 10-trick pony, if anything. I think the trouble is we only see one of them at West Ham. And I think it's because he feels shackled and he doesn't feel that he can express himself. And we're wasting a really good player there. But that doesn't mean I think we should change things for him. Sebastian Haller is a hell of a striker. But David Moyes was never going to change the way he played for Sebastian Haller. In fact, David Moyes, as far as I can see, has only ever changed the way he played for one player, and that's Declan Rice. And that is despite how good Souček was last season. David Moyes understands that he's got a world-class player, and I do think Declan Rice is world-class, a world-class player on his hands. So actually, he'll do that. He'll tweak the team for his world-class player. He ain't going to tweak the team for Said Benrahma. So Said Benrahma's not a world-class player, but I do think he is the most skillful player at the club. Because maybe by tweaking that system, you get a little bit less out of Antonio, you get a little bit less out of Jarrod Bowen. I mean, Jarrod Bowen's a great one to talk about in this because they were both players from the Championship, weren't they? And whilst one of them has just gone on and we are now really, really worried that the bigger clubs will come in and buy Jarrod Bowen. Jarrod Bowen's just improved and seen his value at least treble, maybe quadruple. And we're worried about the big clubs coming in. Let's be perfectly honest, none of us are worried that Man City are going to come in and try and take Said Benrahma because it's just not worked for him. I think he had a pretty miserable African Cup of Nations as well. I mean, didn't appear to be used very much by his country. And I feel it's a pivotal point in his career. I should have maybe checked his age before doing this video. I got a feeling he's near his 27th birthday. He's not a young kid. That he should be at his peak and he should be at his best now. And I look at him stuck on that left wing and I think, you know, he just can't impact the game from there. Whilst I say he's the most skillful player at the club, there ain't really that many skills that matter when you're playing left wing. I'd say the pace and crossing are probably the main ones. Doesn't really have either. I'm not saying he's slow, okay? He's not really, really slow. He's not the slowest player at the club. But generally, he ain't quicker than He's not. I don't look at him and think you're loads quicker than fullbacks. He's not. He's not. I think he's probably. I think there are more fullbacks quicker than him that he'll play against in the Premier League. If that makes sense. I don't think he's rapid. If he were a FIFA player, he'd probably. I don't know. He'd probably be in the mid to high 70s for pace. He can impact the game. Also, he's not got the strength to barge his way through either, and he's so deep a lot of the time because he's protecting Cresswell. We've seen that David Moyes wants his left winger to do that. That's why he plays Fornells there. It's clear and apparent to one and all. Fornells ain't a left winger, but he's there to protect Cresswell. So his starting position is so deep that he'd have to run down the left wing, outpace some people, and trick his way past at least two and then get across it. It ain't his game. It's not what he's going to do. It's really not what he's going to do. And I feel it's a bit of a shame. But if you were to tell me, or someone was to tell me that David Moyes is looking for a left winger this summer, I wouldn't be surprised. Oh, by the way, this video is sponsored by the OneFootball app. You can download the OneFootball app by using the link below. Literally, it's right under there. Not by me legs. In a little text section under this screen. The OneFootball app put all your West Ham news together into one place. I've got to be honest with you, it's mostly been consumer recently. You can use the QR code to download it. But what it does, it takes all the stories from all the newspapers, all the websites, puts them all to one place. So when you sign up, you click I support West Ham and delivers all the West Ham news to you. Best of all, it's free. That's the OneFootball app. So anyway, we might see on the OneFootball app, West Ham are looking at a left winger. Wouldn't be surprised. Because, I'm sorry, it just hasn't worked out. Should Moyes have done more to incorporate him in the team? Yes. If Moyes purchased him. If, as we suspect, I went really high then, didn't I? If, as we suspected, that David Moyes didn't select it, didn't buy him, then why should David Moyes change his team? Well, David Moyes turned around to Sullivan and say, well, I'm not changing my philosophy. I mean, let's be fair, David Moyes has got a team structure and a philosophy that works. He's taken us over twice when we were near the relegation zones, and it's clear he makes us better. Whether you think David Moyes is good or makes mistakes, David Moyes has made West Ham better. So he has every reason to turn around to Sullivan and say, I'm not changing my style of play because this player you bought, I didn't want. I wanted to be a Reyese. So you sort of get it. And I see the frustration from Moyes. I see it in him, and I think it's a real shame. It doesn't mean that Said Benrahma won't have good games or Said Benrahma can't play well for West Ham, but he's never going to be a consistent threat for us because he's never going to play in his chosen position. Funny enough, I mean, I know it's totally different. I know you're dealing with a different class of player. One of them plays for Brazil and has played for Liverpool and Barcelona. I'm just going to talk about Coutinho here. Watching him play the other day for Aston Villa in that sort of role there, you think that's really the sort of thing Benrahma needs. However, there was a point where he set up a goal, he got an assist, Coutinho. And I did look at it and actually, Benrahma wouldn't have played that pass. Because for all his brilliant technique, and I do think he's the best dribbler, and I do think he's got the best technique, he ain't the best passer. The best passer's Lanzini. So what you do all that stuff is Lanzini is the guy that sees the pass. And as a commodity, that's a lot more valuable because you're generally going to be the one that can set up the goals from there. From that wide position, you've got to be really good at crossing, haven't you? Or you've got to have a really good output. And when you look at them and you look at where they've gone, you look at Bowen, you look at Benrahma, the output in terms of goals and assists from the other side is not matched from that side. In many respects, it's been a bit of a problem position for us. Spent so much on Felipe Anderson. And then we try and play Fornells there. And it's hard to say it doesn't work because we're doing so well in the league, aren't we? But you do feel it's an area where we could improve. And sometimes you look at the team and think, well, when Moyes is looking at his team, can we get better at right wing? No, we probably can't. In central midfield, no, probably not. But I wonder if he probably looks at left back. I think it's always going to be hard for me to bring someone in that's better than Cresswell. But I do wonder if he looks at left wing and thinks, I can improve the team there. I think it's a pivotal time for Benrahma. I've got a certain amount of sympathy for him because he seems like a really good lad. He seems really, really skillful. And I think at the right club, given the freedom and given that, I don't know, that shadow striker, false number 9, or the freedom as a number 10, I think you'd have one hell of a player there. And I think he'd be an absolute nightmare. But he needs to be able to find pockets of space where he doesn't have to get in a physical duel. You can do that in the middle because you can go left or right. When you're stuck on the wing, you can only really go right. And he gets bullied. He gets forced off the ball. Sometimes he's surrounded by 3 players, and he just, it's almost impossible to get through there, particularly if you haven't got those other attributes as well. So I think it's a watch this space. I think he's a very, very good player, but I think the next few months are absolutely pivotal for him. There's not a lot of competition there for him. Vlasic has not turned out well at all. Fornals really shouldn't be playing there at all, and we didn't purchase Lingard. There's a free run there for him. I'm not saying Lingard would have played left wing. I just mean if we'd have bought Lingard, Benrahma's chance of getting in the team would have been even lessened. This is about as good as it's going to get for Benrahma. And if with Vlasic being not unsettled, but not having integrated really into the team yet, although I think he's a good squad member, but you know what I'm saying. He's not really a choice, is he, for starting place? With Fornals just better suited somewhere else in the pitch. There is a place there for the left wing. Ideally, Benrahma won't be playing on left wing, but he's got a chance. There's an opportunity to get into the team and stay in the team and start every game. It's not an opportunity I think will be there next season.